Thank you, Mr. President. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I, too, rise in opposition of this bill, and I've listened to the debate going back and forth on both sides of the aisle this afternoon, and it's been very intriguing, and I appreciate the commentary made on both sides. I think the biggest thing that stands out in my mind is the income tax and the increased taxes we have on business, on the estate tax, on corporations, and it's just way too much at this time. I believe that, as we all know, this is probably the worst economic time in our history. I'm sure all of us in this room have never seen anything like this. I myself, as you know, is a small business owner, and I work with a number of different small businesses in my community, a member of the Chamber of Commerce and a member of other organizations, and they're struggling right now. Ladies and gentlemen, they are struggling. Businesses are really hurting. You see every day the Secretary of State comes out with more job losses, more business closings, and this is not the way to go. This is not the time for us to be raising taxes on these very same people that we're talking about. I try to be a positive person. I try to see silver linings in things, and I think we do have a silver lining here with this budget deficit, and that's the way we have an opportunity to reform the way we do government. Businesses are tightening their belts. You and I in our own households are tightening our belts. We cannot spend the way we did spend maybe a year ago or two or even more. So why can't the state of Connecticut do the same thing? Why can't we reduce the spending that we have here in the state of Connecticut? And I think that's a very important thing that we're just not doing. The way out of this is not through taxation, but to reduce spending. And if you and I had a deficit in our own homes, that's what we would do. Business have nowhere else to go to increase funding to try to get additional revenue. We have sales projections, we have sales forecasts. If we don't make those forecasts, we have to cut spending. And I think the state of Connecticut has to do that as well. I believe in Senator Daley and the work she does on the Finance Committee, and I do know you do a great job. I will disagree with you on one point when you said that some of these taxes are just temporary. I think there's nothing more temporary or more permanent than a temporary tax. We all know that the income tax back in 91 or 92 was supposed to be a temporary thing. We know that the business entity tax was supposed to be a temporary thing. We know the real estate conveyance tax was a temporary thing. These were all trying to cut or close budget gaps. And I'm afraid that these type of taxes that we're dealing with here today, although maybe called temporary, will not be. Once they get on the books, I believe it's going to be very difficult to remove them later on. Everywhere I go, since the end of session, I have been going to my different Rotary clubs in my district. I have been attending Chamber of Commerce functions. I've been going to senior centers, trying to get out and talk to the people of my district. And not one person has said to me, Senator Kane, please raise my taxes. I don't think I've heard that from one person. If anything, it's been the reverse. And they have said, we need to reduce spending in the state of Connecticut. And I believe them. And I believe in my constituency, and I believe all of your constituencies will say the same thing in the state of Connecticut, and that is to not pass this type of tax increase. It's historic, it's monumental, and it is the wrong thing, especially in this economic time. So for those reasons, Mr. President, I will be voting in opposition to this bill.
Thank you, sir.